The Carl B. Phillips Show.
Hosted by me, Carl B. Phillips, Uncle Carl.
The Carl B. Phillips Show.
Get ready for another great conversation on the Carl B. Phillips Show. Welcome to the Carl B. Phillips Show. I am Uncle Carl. On today's show, my guest is a Detroit native, gospel recording artist, musician, singer, songwriter, and the host of the Sunday Gospel Brunch at the legendary Baker's Keyboard Lounge. Please help me welcome my friend and brother, Jon Plair.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
yes, sir. How's it going, man?
It's going good. I'm going to need you to lean into the light just a little bit more. There we go. Perfect. Now, as I warned you, Jon, I'm going to ask you a random question. Now, this was a good one. What is the most interesting place that you have been to wearing the shoes that you're wearing now?
The most interesting place that I've been to wearing these shoes, church.
Okay, why is that an interesting place for you to have on your church shoes?
Well, they're not church shoes, so they're Crocs, but they shoe Crocs.
Okay.
And I ain't had no socks on, so that's why it was interesting, because I don't never go to church like that. But during the pandemic, I was a little lazy, so I put the shoes on, and nobody was there. You know, we ain't had no audience, so you know, we was a little bit more relaxed, if I may say. So that's the most interesting place that I wore.
I have yet to own a pair of Crocs. Matter of fact, people were at work today talking about Crocs, and
really?
you have people that love them and people that hate them. It's like,
wow,
there's no middle section. So maybe I need to just give them a try for myself.
Man, well, listen, so for me, like, I'm not a traditional dude, but I have traditional roots. So like I won't go into rehearsal with sweatpants or flip-flops. And it's not even something that I was taught to not do. It's just something, and it's not even that I have what's the word I'm looking for? A requirement for my rehearsal in that regard. I just won't do it. I just don't feel comfortable doing it.
And when I first started directing my choir, I was like, I'm going to wear a shirt and tie to rehearsal because I want the young people to respect me. I'm over that now. All right. We're going to talk a little bit about your family.
Okay.
First of all, I want to start by talking about your wife, Naomi. If you got the name right, correct?
Yes, sir. Naomi. Yep, you got it right.
Yes. How did the two of you meet, and how did you propose to her?
Oh, wow. So the first church that I played for, Superintendent Clyde Jones Jr., which is rest in peace. But that was like my father figure when I came to Detroit. So I'm originally from Kalamazoo, came to Detroit to play basketball. Ended up not playing basketball, or not continuing my basketball journey. And then I think it was 2004. I started playing for a church. Hey, Carl, never knew musicians got paid, man.
Wow.
I just never knew. I'm 18 and never knew a musician got paid. So Robert Moore, a Bishop Sheard's organist, he was like, man, I could put some money in your pocket and I could put you at a church. And Terrence Curry was playing for the church at the time. He was playing keys. But he was like, man, yo, I don't really want to do it. You know, I'll give you this church. And at the time, I'm 18, I'm in college. I'm like, man, why would you give up all that money to let me play, you know what I'm saying, at the place you at? So to make a long story short, man, they got me connected with Superintendent Clyde Jones Jr. Naomi, that was her church since childhood. So she was in the choir when I was teaching the choir, like over the choir, and then she came over to the organ one Sunday, and she said, Brother Plair, can you teach me a solo? Sat on the organ right here and said, hey, can you teach me a solo? And I was like, yeah, I got you. And that was so attractive to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was pretty cool. Didn't think nothing of it. And then years later, she went to school. She went to Michigan. Didn't see her for a while. Came back. Soup bought another church on Greenfield and where is it? Greenfield and Plymouth. And so I was there practicing. I used to practice, man, every day, and just that was my time. I played basketball and practice. And she was there cleaning up the church with some of the parishioners, if I may say. And she said, "Brother Plair." Now keep this in mind, Carl. Man, this is the first time we've seen each other almost since she went to school.
Mhm.
Okay. She said, "Brother Plair, we're gonna be the first ones to get married in here." I didn't know her. We wasn't dating. Nothing, man. I didn't even know her like that. Never been on a date or nothing. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then the rest is history, man.
So you,
So that answers that question. That
how
answers
did you
that question.
propose to her?
How did I propose to her? So it was two proposals actually. So the first proposal was it was at night, and I just kind of, it wasn't a formal proposal. It was just like, yo, I want to propose. I was like, yo, will you marry me? I didn't have a ring or nothing. And she said yes. And so then I surprised her one day, I want to say maybe a couple of weeks later, and I surprised her. I had a couple of my homies, musicians, come go down my basement, set my basement up. Had a little band down there. Had one of my homeboys as a waiter. Went and got some. I think Olive Garden, was it Olive Garden or Benihana's? It was one of her favorite restaurants. Grabbed some food. Went down there, set it all up, man. And she didn't know we was doing that. We was going somewhere else. She thought we was going somewhere else. And so when she got back to the house, when she got to the house, not back to the house, when she got to the house, we took her downstairs, man. And she was like, "What is this?" She didn't know. And so we just had an awesome meal, awesome night. And then I proposed to her that night, gave her a ring, man. And it was pretty dope.
And the rest is history.
And the rest is history, man. Rest is history.
I have watched your wife support you over the past years that I've known you. What does it mean to know that Naomi has your back?
It's the world for me. Actually, I got into marriage not just because I was attracted to her, or not just because she was educated. I got into marriage with Naomi because I seen a future with her. And the future was a partnership as well. So I was like, in that regard, it was like, hey, I can see us building a future. And from that particular time, she has supported me, and that has been my mindset, that has been my motto, and we're still on the surface stages of it. But you know, I support her just as much as she supports me as well. So I think it makes her want to support me, um, you know, more as well.
You're also a father. Talk about your kids and what being a father added to your life.
Oh man, so I have some awesome kids. I got some great kids. I have Corey. It's her birthday today, actually, and she just turned 19. Went to the army, and I got a funny story, Carl, and I gotta tell it to you, man. So Corey was a little different. Raised in two worlds, okay, and so with her being raised in two worlds, for her, it she had a tough journey, you know what I'm saying, with the two structures. And in that, Corey developed a anger, she was really a fighter, okay? So one day, Carl, she listen, it was the end of the school semester for high school,
Mhm.
okay? End of the school semester for high school. Man, the last day before they went on winter break for, Christmas break. Man, she ends up getting in a fight,
Wow.
but gets arrested.
Wow.
Okay. Now keep this in mind, Carl. Like, yo, I'm a young father. I haven't experienced that type of stuff yet, but she gets arrested. You know what I'm saying? And so when they called us to the school, they had me looking at the tape. And listen, when I tell you she picked the wrong person to fight, I mean, now Corey can scrap too, Carl. Don't get she can scrap. But she picked the wrong, like this girl. You remember Rocky Balboa and the dude he fought? What's the Russian?
Mhm.
She looked it like that. And I'm telling you, when I looked at the tape, she was like her, and she was trying to give her work, right? And Corey tried to grab her, and she didn't go. And Corey, for a split second, was like, "Oh snap!" I could see it in the videotape. She was just, she was like, "Uh-oh, wait a minute, something ain't right." And that girl, bang, hit Corey in the in the eye, and Corey was like, "Okay, that's a wrap for me." But I say that to say, Corey has grown up as a fighter, a defender, and now being in the Army. I told Corey, I said, "Man, you used to fight all the time. Now you able to get paid to do it." So being in the Army, she gets paid to fight, and she's doing really well. She's blossomed into something amazing, and man, I'm just so proud of her in that regard. Izzy, man, you already know Izzy is a monster in the sports game. Um, man, he's tough in football and basketball. I'm talking about really tough. He has the opportunity to really make it if he keeps his head on his shoulder and continues down the path of just mental strength.
Mm.
And Carl, he just showed me his report card right now. It's not his report card, but just his progress report, and he got all A's, man.
Wow.
So man, he's very smart. He tests top of the district, man, and different things like that, man. So he's just A1. And I know it's tough on him because he was like one time he's like, "Dad, man, you got me trying to be the best at everything, and I'm tired." So I have to keep that in mind too, as for my mindset of excellence and just being able to know when to give him rest or
Right.
when to let go and just let him be a kid as well. So it's a great relationship that we have. I really enjoy it, and I'm really proud of him as well. And then Lil Hannah, I'm sorry if I'm taking so long, but Lil Hannah,
Take your time, John. You fine.
okay, cool. Lil
You talking
Hannah,
about your
she's
family, man. That's important.
man, it's amazing, man. Um, Hannah is awesome as well. She's a swimmer. I think she's only 8 right now. I'm sorry. She's 8. No, she's 9. She's 9.
She just had a
And
birthday.
she just had a birthday. Her birthday is on the 3rd. My birthday's on the 2nd. Her birthday's on the 3rd. So man, she swims and she loves gymnastics. And she has all A's as well. So she's very smart as well and very charismatic, but she the sneaky one, Carl. She the sneaky one, man. I gotta keep my eye on her, man. She the fast and the sneaky one. So I had to really keep my eye on her, man. But she's precious, man, for sure.
When your children look at you, what do you want them to see in you as a father?
Oh man, that's a good question. Man, that's a good question, Carl. I ain't never thought about that. Um, Success. I want them to see success and hard work and work ethic. And success isn't just a destination, it's the journey,
Mhm.
So I want them to see how I do things, why I do things. Um, I want them to see love, you know, um, and relationship. Our family, when I was growing up, we weren't as relational. I didn't know I struggled with relationships. I didn't struggle. Our love was not open. Our love was intimate love, where you know what I'm saying. we didn't say I love you all the time when I was growing up. Naomi taught me how to be relational. Being able to, be with her family and how they connect it's like night and day with our family. And that's not a negative thing. It's just night and day. So that's what I want them to see, Carl, man. I want them to see success. I want them to see love. I want them to see prosperity, not just physical prosperity, but mental prosperity, spiritual prosperity, emotional prosperity, all the above, all the above. And I want them to get that bag too.
Was the first, if I get it right, first comes, how about, first comes the knowledge, then comes the power, then comes the money.
There it is. There it is.
I said that at work one day, and somebody, Carl, you caught Lil Kim. I'm like, I don't know, I just heard that.
And I do, man. I want them to have bread, and I want them to be able to, but I want them to be able to articulate it. I want them to have financial literacy as well.
Here's the next random question.
Yes, sir.
When was the last time you did something for the first time with your family?
Shoot. That's almost every day, Carl. No, but I went to Disney World for the first time last summer.
Okay, with the family?
With the family. And that was awesome. That was with everybody, Disney World. And that was something that we've always wanted to do as well. So that was pretty cool.
Okay. I think I did Disneyland in California. You did one in Florida?
We did Florida. Yes, we did. Okay. We did Florida. Okay. We did Florida. I didn't even know they had a Disneyland in California.
Well, Disney started in California.
It started in California?
Disneyland started in California. Then Disney brought up a bunch of land. Well, he had other companies buy a bunch of land in Florida. And that's where he ended up putting Disney World.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And so Disneyland is in Florida. Disney World is in California?
It's either Disneyland in California or Disney World. I get them mixed up. Just Disney's in California. Leave it at that.
Okay, I got you.
Now, one of my fondest memories was when you and I first met. This was back in 2014 in my live recording session. And I remember you walking up to me and was like, Carl, thank you for supporting my music. I will never forget that moment in time. But since meeting you, I've learned to admire your passion for music. And one of the things that stuck out with me, Jon, was last year during your concert. And I'll never forget you saying, all I want to do is music. Talk about why music is important in your life.
Oh, man. Man, you almost made me shed a tear right there. Why is music important in my life?
Come back to the light. Come back to the light.
I'm about to. I have to wait. I gotta wait, man. I gotta wait. Why is music important in my life? I grew up. There was two things that's been a passion of mine. One is basketball. One is music. And music it's just always been in me, but it's been in my dad, it's been in my brother. So we come from a musical background. My mom sings, my sister sings, my brothers play instruments. We all play instruments. Brothers play drums. My second to the oldest brother taught us how to play drums. So music has just been a part of our nature, a part of our livelihood, since birth. And like I said, it's a genuineness in it because we grew up not knowing, we didn't grow up in the business of music. We didn't grow up in the business of music. We grew up in the love of music. When I would see my dad sing, he was a preacher. He's a preacher, superintendent. But growing up as a pastor, seeing him sing and how he was passionate about singing, how he was passionate about preaching and how he preached and different things like that, and how he trained us to play for him, and how he trained us to know music, and how he trained us to hear, how he trained us to be excellent and have drive, and just how he taught us those aspects of music. That's what was instilled in us. And so when you look at me and the energy that that you see with music, it's it's great. Like, I mean, it's genuine. It's not something that we perform, of course, but that's just who I am. That's my nature. I grew up, Phil, Carl. I grew up playing a upright piano at my dad's church. That keys were messed up. The
Wow.
keys were messed up. My dad didn't even show me the. Here, let me make sure I say it correctly. My dad put my brother in the forefront. My brother was the minister of music, and he was the one that was the lead and spearheaded everything, and I was always in the background. So that's why you probably see me always in the background. But I was playing a upright piano, man, with like broken, messed up keys, man, and I would play it every time. Every time I got on that piano, man, I would play it like it was the dopest piano alive. And that was just my energy, and that's how I am with everything I do. So when you talk about love and just that particular moment, Carl, I went through. I just recently went through um, three major things. One was a Bitcoin scam, lost a lot of bread. I ruptured my Achilles I, uh, in March of 2022, and then right before I ruptured my Achilles, I had COVID. And COVID was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life, man.
Mhm.
So those three things right there, man, it was tough because I was kind of questioning myself as far as music. And I really mentally right now have been like, yo, man, I'm ready to quit music. Like I'm done with it because I know there's a business behind it too, in order to really continue doing what you're doing, and doing it on the highest level. So that particular moment, and then having to deal with what I had to deal with for the concert and all the other stuff, and that had nothing to do with just the experience that I wanted to give, and people and this and that, and frustrate, I was just like, man, I don't know. It was just a genuine moment. I was just like, man, that's all I want to do is music. This is all I want to do right now is just music. So
Man, that
that's
that
where I was.
that moment, man, it was for someone who knows you, for someone who does music, it was the transparency that you showed, man, was real. I could feel the pain that you were experiencing at that point. And I thank you for sharing that moment with those of us that were there. And you kind of lead into my next question because you mentioned all of the things that you went through, but to me, you bounced back and you came back with a song that kind of was speaking to your own self. It's going to get better that you
Yeah.
and Rob Brooks did.
Wow.
How did writing that song help you get through that period? And what was the inspiration that's like, okay, I'm in all of this right now, but it's going to get better. Talk
It's
about
gonna
how
get
that
better.
came together.
Man, there's always a hope. So that particular song, we wrote in 2019 for the live recording, and we, I and again, I was at a stage mentally like, yo, I'm done with music. So with that particular song, the energy of that song, the purpose of that song, that was able to kind of bring me back to life, man. When I listen to that song right now, and G did a great job, man. He did an awesome job on there. But when I listen to the and don't get me wrong, my girl that's featured on there as well, Tony Washington. She did phenomenal as well as far as leading in that song. But that energy, man, that's an uplifting, energetic tune. It's a vibe. It is a frequency, man, that can definitely turn you from this point to that point. So that's where I was with creating that particular tune. And again, I think in those moments, I just told you those three little things, but it's been a journey, man. It's been my life has been a journey, and people won't think that because I smile all the time, man, and I'm always clowning. But it's definitely been a journey.
I think sometimes as creatives, people don't understand that a lot of things that you create are out of experiences that you've gone through,
Yeah,
hurts that you've gone through, disappointments that you've gone through. You pour that into your music, and
for sure.
I've seen you do that. We're going to talk about the Jon Plair Sunday Gospel Brunch at Baker's Keyboard Lounge. How did that happen? You
Ah,
went to one of the oldest jazz clubs in the city of Detroit, picking gospel and serving fish and grits and chicken and waffles.
man, that is crazy. Man, man, if you want me to give you the real the backdrop of that, of how I got involved in that, I'll try to give you a shorter version. But Jackie Vaughn and Eric Whitaker, they came to I don't know if you remember, I did a concert in 2016. It was called We're in This Thing Together. And I think you were there, Carl. I know Brianna was there. I think you were there too. But I did it at the Shriner Auditorium. Again, most of my events have been at the Shriner Auditorium. But those two were there. Okay. And out of the blue, I didn't know them. I didn't
Mhm.
know them at all. But I went to Nikki's, on Telegraph.
Mhm.
I went to Nikki's one time. It was a karaoke night. And I went to Nikki's, and Jackie Vaughn was there. And Jackie was like, "Man, I was at your concert," and it was funny because the Motown singers were there too, um, Reeves and my girl, what's her name? I can't remember the other one, but that's a whole nother story. But Jackie was like, "Man, I want to do," she was like, "Your show was so awesome, man. I would love to do a gospel brunch at Baker's." Not
Mhm.
she didn't even say a gospel brunch. I'm sorry. She was like inspirational jazz. She said, "I would love to do inspirational jazz at Baker's, and man, would love for you to be a part of that." And so before the pandemic, I started that. I was like, "Well, Jackie," I talked to Jackie and Eric. I was like, "Well, what's your thoughts on it being a Jon Plair? We're calling it Jon Plair Sunday Gospel Brunch instead of inspirational jazz." She was like, "Man, I'm all for it." So before the pandemic, we started it and did it. Hit the pandemic, man, shut it down. And this is the short version of it. Uh, I started playing for Reverend Carlisle Stewart and Empowerment Church, and they go to that church.
Mhm.
So Eric was like, "Man, they've been telling me they want to bring the brunch back. They want to bring the brunch back." And I was like, "I'm ready. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go." So in that saying that, he was like, "Yo, I'm ready to let's get it going." And so we bought it back. But the lives that we've impacted, and he was, even with the staff, he was like, "Man, my staff would be like, yo, man, when is the brunch coming back?" Because they need it. You know
Wow.
what I mean? That community needs something in addition to, the secular activity as well. So, man, I'm honored to just be able to impact that community and be a vessel to
Well,
be able to do that.
I have to say thank you for allowing me to. I think I've been there once or twice
And you
as
coming
an
back?
artist.
You
I'm
coming
coming
back?
back. Oh,
You
okay.
coming? You coming back? Hey, I already got you all locked in, man. We talking after this, and we gonna bring you in there.
Oh man, I'd be so honored to come back. If people want to come to the Gospel Brunch, how can they get tickets for it?
So you can get tickets at the door. We do it on Sunday, every Sunday right now. Every Sunday, we do different entertainment, etc. But you can get tickets at the door, but you can also get it at Eventbrite. If you look up Jon Plair Sunday Gospel Brunch, you can go to Eventbrite and get in. And then we're on social media as well. So we post links where we can make it feasible for you guys as well.
And one thing about Bakers, though, they got some good food.
They got some great food, man. They got some great food, man. Number one, I want to say their soul food is like their soul food is like number one, out there.
Yeah.
So
You're gonna get spiritually fed and you're gonna get naturally fed when you go to Bakers.
for sure.
John, if people want to contact you or follow you on social media, how can they reach you and how can they contact you?
So I have my music page is Jon Plair Music, but you can also follow me on my personal profile for Jon Plair on Facebook. My Instagram is Jon Plair 2. And I'm not really a Twitter. I gotta do better on Twitter. I don't really be on Twitter much. I gotta start doing that. But Instagram and Facebook are my two major platforms right now.
Now, you've been doing music for almost, 10 years now? Or has it been longer than that?
Maybe a little bit longer. I've been doing music since about 07, 08.
When did your first project drop?
The album,
Was that the Can You Imagine?
yes, I did a demo before that, but the Can You Imagine album was I want to say like 2014, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. I said about 10 years. I
Yep,
did my research.
2014. Okay. I love it. 2014. Okay. Because when you be like, because my mind went back when you said, hey, when did you start doing music? My mind went back to when I started the group, not
Okay.
necessarily the album. You know what I mean?
And of course, you have my niece, Brianna, singing in your group. She
Amazing.
is a beast, man.
Amazing, man.
Amazing. I love her. She's my heart. I
That's
have enjoyed this conversation with you, John. Before we wrap up, you shared a lot of your struggles. For someone that's watching this, let them know how you discovered that things can get better.
I just keep pushing. Nothing stops me. And Carl, what they don't know, I have major struggles. I have insecurity issues as well. So I keep myself saturated with motivational messages, motivational videos. Um, the experiences in my life has helped me mature as well and to refocus. So they just got to keep pushing. They got to keep pushing and they have to keep going and know that they actually can reach their dreams. It's not about a will, it's just about a when. When will it happen? Not will it happen? It's going to happen. It's just about when. And then what I really believe this in my whole heart. What makes it faster is if you can actually get knowledge on and clarity on what you're trying to do. And if I would have learned that earlier, like you know what I'm saying, it could have been different for me. But I'm blessed to start realizing that now. But they have to get clarity. They have to get knowledge and educate themselves. I was talking to my son the other day. I was like, hey, Deion Sanders said something so profound. He had a number one recruit that he's not playing. Okay. So my son is very talented, right? He's really talented, but I tell my son all the time, talent is only 20% of the game. So then when you look at, why did people say that? They'll be like, okay, well, I'll make a dope single or a dope album. And then it sits on the shelf because we're talented, right? But then we don't really know the business. We don't really know, we didn't really budget to, you know what I'm saying? All of that type of stuff. So Deion said, man, I got the number one recruit. And he's not playing. And they asked him, why isn't he playing? Deion said, man, study. He was like, man, study, come to the meetings, be in the meetings. He was like, want to play this game, love to play this game. And he was basically saying that comes from practice, that comes from studying the film, and that comes with what you do outside of practice, what you do at home. So the discipline that you have to put in the work, to study the work, study what you're trying to pursue, perfect it, educate yourself, and then know that it's gonna happen. It's not a will, it's just a win.
You know what? I need to get some bump music right now. 165 BPMs, or I can just do a quick shout and sit down. I have enjoyed this conversation with you.
Me too, man.
Again, this is my brother, my friend, Jon Plair. As a reminder, remember to work like you don't need the money, love like you've never been hurt, and dance like no one's watching you. I'm Carl B. Phillips, and this is the Carl B. Phillips Show. God bless until we have an opportunity to meet again. Peace.
Peace.
The Carl B. Phillips Show.
Thank you for listening to the Carl B. Phillips Show. For more information, go to carlbphillips.com.
The Carl B. Phillips Show.
Follow Carl B. Phillips on Instagram so we can stay in contact with each other.